The Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, or RACP, is a Commonwealth grant program administered by the Office of the Budget for the design, acquisition, and construction of a regional economic, cultural, civic, recreational, and historical improvement project. This tutorial will go over the steps for submitting a RACP e-application. E-applications are only accepted during an open funding round. Please refer to the RACP website for detailed program information, requirements, and funding round updates. Before starting your e-application, you should have the following items readily available: the project name, an eligible itemization. A project is eligible for RACP funding only if that project has been itemized in a PA Capital Budget Project Itemization Act and such itemizations have remaining project allocation amounts. Completed budget forms. These budget forms are used to identify the project's sources of funds, RDA 300, uses of funds, RDA 301, and construction cost breakdown, RDA 302. The project description. The project site location and contact information. Begin by using your Keystone login credentials. If you do not have a Keystone login, you will need to register. Input your project name. This should be short and simple, but not generic. For example, Harrisburg Community Center. You will begin on the Program tab, where you can search for and select an application. Then, select the RACP program to begin your application. Before beginning your application, review and acknowledge program eligibility, scope limitations, and grant compliance requirements. RACP projects should be focused on construction activities. The application is organized into 8 steps, and detailed instructions are available on the RACP website for each section. The first 2 sections identify entity information. The Applicant tab should be used for an eligible grantee, if known, and the Company tab should be used for the subgrantee of the RACP funding. If an eligible grantee has not been selected at the time of application, you should place the same subgrantee information in both tabs. The Project Overview tab will ask for a few additional details about your project. The next 3 sections relate to the project details. The Project Narrative tab is an overview of the project, including 4 questions with a minimum of 100 characters each. The e-application site is known to time out, so it is recommended that you compose your narratives offline and then copy and paste them into the project narrative boxes. A few sentences are all that is needed for a project description. Next, list the location of the project site where construction is taking place. The Budget tab will require the use of your completed RDA budget forms. These are broad estimates, so don't get hung up on the details. Under the Spreadsheet tab, reference your RDA 300 and input the total amount of RACP funding being requested, along with the total amount of match funding sources. Please note that the amount of RACP funds cannot exceed the amount of match. The Basis of Cost tab should reference the RDA 301, detailing the costs associated with the project. The Addenda tab is specific to the RACP program and includes identifying an itemization that fits your project description and site location. You will be asked to provide additional contact information for the entities involved in the project and to identify any prior RACP grant awards by their project name, ME number, award amount, and funding round. There are 3 attachments required for this page that include RDA budget forms, worker protection form, and statement of compliance acknowledgement. There is also a place to upload any legislative support letters for your project. After you have completed all tabs of the e-application, please review each tab for accuracy. No changes can be made after the certification and payment. Please note that there is a $500 fee associated with each application. Once you click Checkout, you will be taken to a third-party site to input payment information. Your submission is not completed until you return to the application site to e-sign and submit your e-application. The payment page does not always return you to your application, so you may need to log back in after you have made payment. Congratulations! You have successfully submitted your e-application. After this certification, nothing further is needed. You are not required to send any paper copies of your e-application or the signature page.